Welcome to another Bitcoin Video University lesson. I am your host and online trainer Evander Smart, and in today's video we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Has Bitcoin proven to be a solid investment over time? Now Bitcoin is several years old now, so now we can look at its history. We have a price history we can fall back on, and we can look at its reception in the market, the demand for it. We can go over how many transactions people are doing in it, and all of these things. There's plenty of metrics if you want to look at Bitcoin and how it has grown over the years. But we're just going to focus on a few different things that may show you whether Bitcoin is a solid investment. So I'm going to take this video very easy for you to follow. I'm just going to show you some pictures that are worth 1,000 words. And I'll explain to you what those pictures are saying to you. And then you can draw your own conclusions. Okay? Fair enough? So we're going to look at the relative values of the world's largest currency and the largest commodity investments. We're going to look at popular investments like gold, silver, the US dollar, and then we'll look at Bitcoin. And after we look at all that, you can make your own conclusions, and I'll leave the fate of Rome to you. So let's start with everybody's most popular worldwide investment, the commodity known as gold. Now, over the last 5 years, these are the gold prices. Over the last 5 years, I got these charts from goldprice.org, so you can look these up yourself. I'm not making these up. And you can see from this chart here, 5 years ago today, you can buy an ounce of gold for $1,710, and it peaked at over $1,800 in the summer of 2011. Now, I'm sure that you've watched Fox News and MSNBC and all these financial experts say buy gold over the last 5 years. And if you listen to them, if you listen to your financial advisor in 2013 in January to start a new year, you want to get a good investment, he said buy gold. You could have bought gold in January of 2013 for $1,700, and by New Year's Day of the following year, you would have lost $500 an ounce on your investment. You would have lost about 30% of your money. So has gold been a good investment over the last 5 years? I don't think you need me to answer that for you. You can just look at the numbers. Right now, gold is trading at less than $1,350. Now, I'm not saying that gold is a bad investment per se. Right now might be a good time to buy gold and go long on it. But what I can say is, without a doubt, that over the last 5 years, gold has been a poor investment, and you've lost over 20% of your money over the last 5 years. So you can't really say that gold has been a good investment over the last 5 years. Now let's also look at silver over the last 5 years. Silver has done even worse than gold has. If you bought silver, it was $39 5 years ago, summer of 2011, and it peaked at about $43 in the last 5 years. But again, it's going to follow gold's trajectory. At the start of 2013, silver was worth about $30. Started next year, it was worth what it's worth today, about $20. So you would have lost over 30% on your money. And gold and silver has not improved over the last 2.5 years. So over the last 5 years, you lost half your money on silver. Again, I'm not saying don't buy silver. It might be a good time to buy silver and go long on it. It might be a buyer's market. I would recommend getting physical gold or physical silver if you are interested. If you want to diversify your portfolio, if you can afford to get both gold and silver, I say go for it. But over the last 5 years, they have proven to be poor investments. Now, the US dollar. Now, you should really Google this article. This is a great article to read, to get educated on inflation. A lot of people think inflation is when prices go up. You know, a lot of people really don't have a good concept of what money is, how money works. I worked on Wall Street for 4 years, so I got a education in school on economics and also in the real world working with the banking firm. And what inflation is, this article goes over the CPI inflation index for the US dollar, is when the actual amount of dollars in circulation in the system increases. So if you are the US government and you have the Federal Reserve and they're doing quantitative easing every year and they're printing $1 billion new every year, which they have done which they like to do to try and buy themselves out of this debt-based fiat currency system they have. If you make $1 trillion every year, that's just going to add $1 trillion eventually to the money supply, or the M1 supply, or what you want to call it. And the more money you have in the circulation, in the system, that's going to drive prices up. Prices will adjust to that new influx of money, and prices will go up. So inflation in prices is an effect of the cause of the inflation, which is more money being put into the system, which is what quantitative easing is. So if you don't like prices going up, you don't like quantitative easing. So again, you should really look up this article written by Perianne Boring. We connect with each other on LinkedIn. She works in Washington. She does some Bitcoin lobbying. She does some Bitcoin relations with Washington on regulations and laws and awareness and adoption of Bitcoin. So she's joined the Bitcoin community since this article has been published, and you can see it's a very popular article, almost 70,000 views. You got to be a little bit sharper than the average cookie to read Forbes articles on the rate of inflation, but this shows the real rate of inflation. So again, inflation is highly manipulated, a lot like your unemployment rate would be. The government will tell you unemployment is 5%, and they'll tell you inflation is 1 to 2% a year. Do you really believe that unemployment is 5%? Do you really believe that the rate of inflation is 1 to 2% a year over the last 5-6 years? If you do, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. I think I can get you a good price on it. So check out this article, and the point of this article, really at the bottom, spoiler alert, is that the real rate of inflation is closer to 5%, not 1 to 2%. Now, you can also look at the US dollar index, which will compare the dollar to other currencies, which is kind of a specious way of looking at dollar value, because the other currencies are generally going to be weaker than a dollar, because the dollar is the global reserve currency. But put that aside, use the US dollar index. The US dollar index says the US dollar was up 9% last year, which is very good. It's one of the better performing currencies in the world. The US dollar was up 9% based on the US dollar index. But factor in the inflation, whether it's 2% or 5%, whatever you want to use, you got to back that out. And the real value for the dollar going up last year was 4 to 7%, which is all right. But when you compare that to Bitcoin, maybe not. This is the history of Bitcoin over the last 6 years. So Bitcoin prices 6 years ago, we're talking the summer of 2010, Bitcoin was worth 6 cents 6 years ago. So in US dollars, one Bitcoin was worth 6 cents 6 years ago. 5 years ago, summer of 2011, it went up to 30 cents. So it went up over 400% in value in 1 year. This has been the way Bitcoin has been right up through 2013. This bubble here is Mt. Gox. We'll go over Mt. Gox at another time, but Mt. Gox was a bubble. You see appreciation, you see values increasing every year, and then they go out of control. It's an obvious bubble if you look at it. And then the next year, 2014, is spent correcting that bubble, and then it goes right back to its appreciating arc. So Bitcoin has gone up, 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 except for 2014 where this bubble occurred. So Bitcoin is definitely not perfect. It has bubbles just like gold, silver, US dollars, real estate, any other commodity or value you want to use. But again, 6 out of the last 7 years, Bitcoin has not only gone up in value, it's gone up quite a bit in value. Last year, while the dollar went up 9% in value, plus the cost of inflation, so it's really 4 to 7% in value, Bitcoin went up over 35%. So would you rather make 4 to 7% on your money with the US dollar, or would you rather make over 35% for a year with Bitcoin? And the 35% was really a slow year for Bitcoin. So you look at the values for 2015, it was a lot higher than 35%. Or 2015, it was 35%. You go back to 2012, 2013, it was even higher than that. So Bitcoin has proven to be a solid investment, I believe, based on this data, based on the real numbers in the real world. What do you think? You tell me. So thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one, and I hope this really brought a lot of value to you. I hope you liked it. Take care. See you soon.